Good day everyone, this is Sergio and can I be honest with you, this is actually the second time I'm recording this for the reason that I actually recorded this earlier, but I forgot to press record. Calm down. Calm down. So we are going to talk about the different types of claims. Going back to the same format, I know, I have a thing for patterns, so let's just get through this. These are the questions for today. First is, of course, what are claims? We actually described this already in an earlier video about thesis statements, but let's have a brief review. Second question is, what are the different types of claims? Third question is, what are the types of claims used in a given sentence? And fourth question is, what are the best claims to be used in different topics? Now, before we proceed, I'm just going to go to my recording studio and check if it's recording. It's recording, so that's good. So let's have the first question. What are claims? And this is just going to be a brief review. Basically, a claim is an arguable statement that defines your goal of your essay. It usually states your topic and your stand on a certain issue. It also shows what you will prove in your argument. It is usually the first phrase in your thesis statement. So, here is a quick checklist of what makes a good claim. First is that it must mention your topic, obviously. Second question is, it must clearly state your stand on the mentioned topic. Third is, it must be what you want to prove in your essay. Fourth, it must be debatable or arguable. So let's head on to the next question, which is, what are the different types of claims? Now, we have three different types of claims, which are the claims of fact, claims of policy, and claims of value. In a nutshell, claims of facts are statements that argues that something is in fact true. Claims of policy are statements that argue that something needs to be done, may it be making a law or calling for action. And lastly, claims of value are statements that argue that something is good, bad, or valuable. First claim! First claim is a claim of fact. So, claims of facts are actually what we call arguable facts. These are statements that argue that something is in fact true, as we have mentioned earlier. Even though that the statement appears to be factual, it is still debatable. What are then the questions that we need to ask in order to determine if one claim is a claim of fact? First question is, of course, did it happen? Another question is it true? Does it exist? And lastly, is it a fact? Examples of this is, number one, Lord of the Rings shaped the modern fantasy genre. So as you can see, it's not necessarily a fact. Rather, you are arguing that something is factual. Second example is, Gregorio del Pilar ordered the execution of Andres Bonifacio and General Antonio Luna. Now, when we talk about claims of fact, it does not mean that a statement is factual. It is merely a claim, a debatable claim, that you are going to be arguing in the entire essay. But be careful, some claims of fact are not debatable, and you have to avoid these, especially in persuasive or argumentative essays. An example of this is smoking is dangerous to your health, or to one's health, because smoking is already proven to be dangerous to one's health. Next claim! Claim of policy. Claims of policy are claims that suggest actions. As we have mentioned earlier, these are statements that argue that something needs to be done. May it be a law, may it be merely calling for action. What are the questions that we need to answer to check if a claim is a claim of policy? What should we do about it? An example of claims of policy is the haircut policy should be lifted in all schools. You are suggesting an action or a rule to be dismantled. So, this is a claim of policy. Another one is an individual must be knowledgeable about his or her basic rights. You are now suggesting that everyone should be educated in order for them to know their basic rights. And please do note, a claim of policy usually has the modals should, must, may, and might. Keyword is usual. Next claim, and I swear that was the last one, is the claim of value. A claim of value determines the value of a certain idea. Claims of value are statements that argue that something is good, bad, or valuable. It usually compares two ideas against one another, or that one idea is the best among all ideas. Questions to answer to check if a claim is a claim of value. Is it good or bad? Valuable or not valuable? Desirable or undesirable? Examples of which are, number 1, euthanasia is immoral. This statement shows the desirability or undesirability of a certain idea, and that is euthanasia. Another one is animal testing is the worst way to test medical products. So as you can see, this statement actually shows that one thing is the worst. Okay, it's bad on the superlative level. And lastly is, of course, Lord of the Rings is better than Harry Potter. As you can see, it compares two ideas to one another. But is it arguable? Lord of the Rings is actually better than Harry Potter, but you know. Now let's have a quick quiz. This would be an identification type of quiz. You could get a paper and pen and write your answers, or you could just answer in your mind. So let's head on to the first statement. You would just have 10 seconds for this, but of course I know you're talented enough to actually answer within 10 seconds. Excessive consumption of alcohol can lead to many diseases. So you have to ask yourself, is it a claim of fact, policy, or value? And if you answer that this is a claim of fact, you're in fact correct. Pun intended. Next statement. Honesty is the best policy. Keyword here is the best, right? It is a superlative of a certain idea. So, what type of claim is this? This is a claim of value. Next is, to attract more non-traditional students, this school must review and revise its course offerings. Keyword is must. Then, it's a claim of policy because you are suggesting an action. Another statement is that extrajudicial killing men, that's hard to say, are killing innocent civilians. And this is actually a claim of fact. Now, I'm not saying that this is in fact factual, but you are arguing that this is factual. You are debating that this is true. So what is the best claim to be used in a given topic? So we have 3 types of claims. But what claim is best to be used in a topic that you're planning to write? The claim of fact is usually used when you argue that something is factual or true. For example, wearing masks and social distancing is effective in preventing the spread of COVID-19. And sadly, of course, this is actually debatable because there are some people out there who refuse to practice social distancing and wear their mask. Guys, please wear your masks and practice social distancing. I still want to see you in the next school year. Next is the claim of policy. It is used when arguing that something needs to be done. For example, mass testing should be prioritized. You hear that? Mass testing should be prioritized. And lastly is of course the claim of value. It is used when arguing that something or an idea is better or best, worse or worse than its counterpart, or that an idea is or isn't valuable. An example of this is online learning is better than face-to-face learning during the time of pandemic. Because again, this is very debatable. So that's about it. The 3 types of claim. Whew! Delving deeper in research is quite difficult, don't you agree? Hey guys, actual Sergio here, and I know, not as good looking as my cartoon version.
Surprise!
What are you doing here? You already have your exposure, it's my time. Go! And I want to thank everyone for their support, my friends, my family, and you, my students. It's actually been a long time since I wanted to make a channel solely for educational purposes. And this would also serve as help for students who would want to learn more, especially right now that we are having, of course, this new normal way of learning. Okay, so thank you to my first Patreon, Johanna, and thank you for always supporting. And of course, for all of you, if you want me to discuss another topic, feel free to comment down below. This has been Sergio, and I'll see you all in the next lecture.